What kind of weather do you have out there in Great
Same as
Saline,
you,
Michigan?
Tyler. 55 and beautiful sun. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. You know what? We were actually just at Allegheny State Park. Gina and myself walked around Red House Lake. Now, when I say Red House, New York, does that ring a bell at all, Bob?
No.
It's barely a town, just outside of Salamanca, Great Valley, where I grew up. But my dad grew up on the park. My grandfather, Huey Dunn, he used to run the park at Red House, Allegheny State Park. And there is a football legend who's from Red House, Marv Hubbard,
Oh,
the
wow.
great Raiders fullback, baby, bashing skulls, bringing really the NFL films music. When I hear John Facenda and the iconic jingles, I think of Marv Hubbard just snatching souls. But yeah, he grew up right by my dad here in Western New
Wow.
York.
Jeez. That's pretty amazing.
Did you watch those Raider teams
Oh,
growing
sure.
up?
I watch the AFL a lot,
Yeah.
in the early 60s. Heck yeah. Those games were on later after this NFL on CBS. So those games would kind of come on late in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Yeah, it was a throwing league, a lot of points. It was a much different kind of football. It was fun.
Hard to beat wearing number 44 though as a running back fullback in that era where anything could go like that. I think that's why we're kind of drawn to Cam Scattaboo. He's in 44, just head first, bashing into anything that moves. um Anyways, I don't know, that just popped to mind. It was great going for a nice little fall stroll before the snow inevitably slams us all here. Yeah, we've got a lot to get into here on the Ty and Bob pod. Green Bay, Arizona. They played footsie with another inferior team, Bob. Kind of kind of messed around there for 3.5 quarters before Micah Parsons said enough is enough. Minnesota at home, coulda, woulda, shoulda, and two interceptions by Carson Wentz were costly. Jalen Hurts basically woke up from the dead. And then you've got the Detroit Lions decimated in the secondary, making life hell for the MVP frontrunner in Baker Mayfield. So I think this is going to be our best podcast. Yeah, I'm feeling good, Bob. I'm feeling good. This is coffee number 6 or 7 here. So like Matt Foley in the basement, getting ready for the motivational speech on SNL, ready to roll. How many coffees have you had?
Well, this is my first. This is from Rocket Raj, the Guatemalan special. Thank
That's
you,
right.
Raj. No, excellent. I'm working on the first one with my straw. And,
All right, for those who don't know, my intrepid podcast co-host Bob McGinn does drink coffee with a straw. What are the benefits? If I know you, it's probably a paper straw because you're trying to save the world.
no, no, no. Go
Okay,
with the
good. Oh,
plastic.
okay,
Sorry.
that's good.
Otherwise, when you mic it, they'll melt or they'll just get, the wood, the paper straws go to hell in a microwave. So,
Look at you! Wow, I thought you would be
yeah,
a paper straw guy through and through.
nope.
I
Um,
like it.
Tyler, your teeth don't get as brown if you're not using those sipper cups and regular drinking from a cup. The straws eliminate the brownage.
It's true. You do have very white teeth. You're doing something right.
Yeah,
You've got some
right.
good-looking teeth, Bob.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's a very underrated quality. When I started going bald, I'll never forget. I was probably in high school. I was at the dentist, and I, the woman who was cleaning my teeth at one point she said, "Yeah, when you lose your hair, you just have to accentuate other qualities. White teeth." I mean, my now to be self-conscious the rest of the podcast. My teeth really aren't that white. Probably because I drink so much damn coffee, but maybe I should have listened because I'm bald. I gotta say, I got a lot of insults slung my way a month, 2 months ago with the Bears series, which is fine. Fans are gonna be fans. Bring it on. That was the one I probably heard more than any other. The people referencing the fact that I'm bald. That was really supposed to hit home. Yes.
Wow, what a cheap shot. That's horrible.
A,
I mean, what are
a, a,
people?
a bald F. Got to watch my mouth myself, but a bald fuck repeatedly, which is fine. I mean, hey, I guess They're just reporting. I am bald. That is true. And proud of it. It's okay. Bald lives matter too, Bob. Did you know that?
Oh yeah,
All right. How in the hell do we start this? What game?
I'm,
Do you want to
getting.
start with the Vikes? What do you
Let's
say?
start with the Vikes, okay? They dropped it to the Eagles 28-22. I'm just going to start right in here. Let's see. We got 4 games to get through. I'm not going to hit this all that hard. On offense, Addison played really well. He is a clever, precise route running guy. I like
Any
him.
overall thoughts on this game first? Vikings, Eagles, nothing?
Uh, they don't have a quarterback. Sam Darnold's playing great. I mean, playing really good. Where's he rank in the passer ratings?
Shit, he won
Mr.
again last
Darnold is
night.
4. So, I mean, he's just not that good, and he was very erratic here, and it cost him. And they got a few injuries. Their pass rush isn't what it should be. We'll get into Hargrave. He's really been a bust. They had to get him out of the lineup. Grenard had a dead day, a lot of attention. Turner's been a disappointment. They got no rush, and Hurts picked them apart.
Yeah, to illustrate your point, Sam Darnold is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in quarterback rating,
Fourth.
109.2. Well, yeah, fourth. Yeah, you're right. If you don't count Lamar Jackson, I guess he's first
Oh,
with what I'm looking at, but he hasn't really
yeah,
played as
yeah.
much.
He's a non-qualifier.
Yes, and he's 7th in passing yards. He's 8th in touchdowns. He's only thrown 4 picks. He's only been sacked 9 times. Yeah, if you were to power rank the things that we'd be wrong about, or at least raise my hand that I was wrong about going into this season, it's Seattle's offense. Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, that whole crew just looking, they were okay last night, I suppose, against Houston, but that's a really good defense too. Yeah, they're explosive as hell. And yeah, you had them right in your house if you're Minnesota.
So Addison Jefferson was fine. I mean, these guys got open. People can get open against the Eagles. They blocked the Eagles' pass rush okay. Adam Thielen played 8 snaps. Now they traded like maybe a 6 for him, I think.
I think we have to jump in here, Bob. Thielen, correct?
What did I say? Thielen?
Thielen. It's
Thielen.
it's tricky because you got Joe Tooney as well. I get it. But just out of respect to our guy, Adam Thielen, speaking of
Thielen.
dental work, he was going to get a job in dental sales once upon a time when he worked out for the Minnesota Vikings and made the team, and the rest is history. So I believe, yes, I believe so.
So he's on there. He gets on the field on 3rd down. It was 3rd and 6. They run up. He's crafty. He ran a hook, gain of 10, 1st down. I mean, he can move the stakes. The offensive line. So Kelly's injured, and they knew he was injured. I mean, we're going to keep going back to this Darnold thing. They paid Kelly, a guy who had a bunch of concussions. They gave him 18 over 2 years. They gave Hargrave 2 years, 30. And Jonathan Allen, who's really been pretty average, 3 years, 51. And that was Sam Darnold's money. Okay, so replacing Kelly it's Blake Brandel. Yeah. All right, this is the 2nd game he's played at center. He had a rough day. I mean, he had a bad high snap early, led to -22 when Wentz finally tracked it down. He got shed by Jordan Davis at the point of attack, gain of 1. He gave up a knockdown to Carter, Jalen. Gave up a hurry on a walk back to Jordan Davis. holding penalty against Ojamo, wiped out a touchdown pass to a Naylor. And he gave up a sack to Ojama in 2.8. So he got out muscled. Jurgens, the guy who started the game, I think he did start. He played, no, he didn't. He was in there for 2 plays and then he got hurt in the third quarter. So that's been a problem. Jackson returned at guard. O'Neal returned at tackle. The front was okay. Brandle's a problem, and they don't know when they're getting Kelly back. All right, the running backs, we got Mason pegged. He's spinning. He's a tough guy. He can string cuts together, which is interesting. Had a good game. And now Wentz. All right. Throws horribly to the flat, incomplete, possible touchdown to Addison. He threw an awful ball. Throws the pick six, horrid, through the end of Jefferson, went right to the linebacker. He threw that backward swing pass when he was under pressure. -6 fumble. Lucky the ball went out of bounds. I think he's done that before in Minnesota. Interception, he let it rip on 2nd and 25. Boos cascaded down from the home crowd. He had a great throw, improvised, spotted Naylor, gain of 26. I mean, he can make plays, obviously. He's wild high to Naylor. Should have been a touchdown to him, 6 yards. It makes a wild, crazy quilt scramble. It throws incomplete. Stupid intentional grounding penalty at the 8-yard line. Ham, the fullback, was open in the flat, takes this grounding thing. He throws the outs pretty darn well, Tyler. He doesn't throw that well down the middle or seam routes, but he throws outside a lot better than inside. And then he does have wheels still at age 30, whatever it is. 3rd and 10, he scrambles the gut for 15. 3rd and 10, scrambles for 13. Scrambles right. Threw a great touchdown pass to Hawkinson. Play was overturned by replay, no touchdown. Then he took a sack late in the game in 3.9. So, I mean, they got to get McCarthy back. He's coming off a high ankle. They play Thursday night. I mean, the kid from Minnesota, Brosmer, could start that game, I imagine. And if they had Darnold, they probably wouldn't be 3-3. They might be 5-1. I don't know. So that's it on the offense, Tyler.
Boy, as you are breaking that all down, Kevin O'Connell was conducting his press conference out there in Minnesota, and he said that J.J. McCarthy this is from Alec Lewis at The Athletic, does a fantastic job. O'Connell said that J.J. McCarthy was put through an on-field workout this morning. The team is encouraged, but O'Connell said, quote, he's just not there. So not looking good for J.J. McCarthy. And Albert Breer added that, Carson Wentz set to start in L.A. on Thursday night. But, he got batted around too, didn't he?
He did, yeah. And Brosmer, I mean, he was just an average guy in the Big Ten, so I don't know. Do they got another one? No. Practice squad? No. All right, let's go to the defense. So, Barkley and the Eagles haven't run the ball worth a darn all year. They start out the game, first play, Hargraves over at right defensive tackle. The Eagles run right at him. He gets blown back by a double team. The gain is 8 with Barkley. Third play, they run at him again, gain of 5. In the same drive, they run right at him, a gain of 9. He plays only 18 snaps after that. It was so crazy bad that they just decided they could not play him. Now, Hargrave's like 31 years old. He's 6'1.5". He's relied on quickness. He came out at 305. He's strong, 29 on the bench 10 years ago. Short arms at 32. He's a sack artist, and he plays low. But at this point now, at this age, it's been a problem early, but never this bad. So he played 18 snaps. They come in with a Rodriguez 24. Allen started 44. and Redmond played 37. Now, Redmond had a great game. He's 6'2.5", 292, but he's thick now. He's put on weight since college. He had all kinds of good plays, knockdown stuffs, tackle for loss, another dominating effort against the backup center, Toth. All right, let's stick on the defense. So Allen, he's been okay. He gives effort. He's bigger, but neither he or Hargrave have really been. Last year they played with Tillery, Bullard, and Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips, it is? No, Harrison
Phillips. Yep.
Yeah. And those are the three guys. We talked about them all year. That team won, 14 games last year? Yeah, you weren't getting plays from the down linemen, but they weren't giving stuff up either. They all battled hard. They did what they were told and just occupying blockers for Flores. I think one of the reasons Pace has got benched, the little guy, is that he's not protected by this D line like he was last year by those big slugs. All right, let's go outside. So without Van Ginkel, all the pressure's on Grenard. He did absolutely nothing till the fourth quarter. Played 47 snaps. The first play he made was at the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter when he slipped Landon Dickerson on a run play for -3. And then he had one flush later against Jordan Maeda. Okay, on the other, this is where, they have to have Dallas Turner come through. And he started, but really, he's not doing it. Let's go through him in this game. Killed at the point of attack by Lane Johnson, gain of 11. 4th and 4, he's on a one-on-one against Johnson, no double team. Hurts has 4.6 seconds to release that 37-yard touchdown to A.J. Brown. Turner wasn't even close. One-on-one. He got a sack. It was garbage. Somebody else set it up. They ran to him. He's not very aware. He gives up the outside all the time. He lost contain with Hargrave on a 3rd and 13, enabling Hurts to get outside and hit Brown for 14. Disappointment. Interesting, Tyler, against the tush push, they just activated Tyler Batty, a free agent this year from, I can't remember where, Baylor maybe, Batty. So twice against the tush push, they put Batty in there, lined up sideways in front of Juergens, the center. Sideways. It's just throwing a body in there, it's just a piece of red meat. And then you got people behind him charging right over Batty's body. Well, it didn't work, and the tush push worked, but it was a real fight to get it. And then Batty later, he only played 3 snaps. He missed Barkley in the backfield, gained 5 after the play. Let's keep going. They get Cashman back at inside backer. So then you think Pace, the guy who had played every snap for weeks, would start next to Cashman? No, they went with Eric Wilson. Pace never got in. Never played a snap from scrimmage. He's missed a lot of tackles. He's a small guy. And when you front's not protecting him, they felt they need a bigger body. Cashman, I forgot how good he is. He punishes people. He's a pass rusher. He's reckless. I like the guy. Wilson, ditto for him. Again, he throws his body around. He had a sack. Barkley can't pass block, Tyler. He had real problems picking up the blitz here. Wilson beat Barkley for a sack, got a holding penalty on Barkley on the play. He got a flush against Barkley. Okay, now let's go to the secondary. Well, when the rush wasn't there, these guys got exposed, Hurts had too much time. Murphy was good until the end when Brown beat him on that skinny post, 26-yard touchdown, and that was the winning score. Isaiah Rodgers, he played 7 yards off of Devontae Smith. Smith ran a double move on him. He ran right by the guy. 79-yard touchdown, 29 after the catch. It was a pure blitz by Flores. Rodgers couldn't hold up. And then on 3rd and 9, they run a stop and go to Brown, a sluggo, 45 yards. I mean, there was bombs away. The Eagles hadn't done it all year, but when the rush wasn't home, these guys got exposed. It's kind of similar to the Packers. We'll get to that secondary later. So with pace out and on passing downs, they move Metellus to linebacker like they did last year a bunch of times, daring the Eagles to run. Metellus is good. And then they played Harrison Smith back at safety more than Jackson opposite. No, it was Jackson and Smith. I'm sorry. And Smith was fine. Special teams, Reichard, man, 5 for 5. He hit one from 59. Price, the rookie returner, had a 39-yard kickoff. That's it for the Vikings. They fall the last place in the division at 3-3. The division is 16-8-1, 660 winning percentage. Next, NFC West 607 at 17-11. That's it, T.
I think that you have to talk about that distribution of resources that Minnesota had. And this is the conversation that they're having last spring. We like Sam Darnold, but we don't love Sam Darnold because of that last regular season game, the de facto NFC North Championship against the Lions, because of the wild card game against the Rams. And they decided to push the chips in on J.J. McCarthy, their first-round pick, build up the lines in their mind, and go for it in that regard, kind of straddle the present and the future. You brought it up, though, that, and I'm sure others have as well, just because you would sign Sam Darnold to a contract, it doesn't mean that you're giving up on J.J. McCarthy. It wouldn't look good, but the gross irony of this all is year 2 is, I mean, I don't want to call it a wash for J.J. McCarthy. It sounds like if this were a Sunday game for the Vikings, he'd have a legitimate chance to play. He'll probably see the field somewhat soon, but I mean, half the season's going to go by and you barely seen him at all. So basically, you're seeing a hell of a lot of Carson Wentz versus Sam Darnold versus maybe being a 1-loss team, a 2-loss team like Seattle. It's all hypothetical. I mean, I can't run and hide. I was all in on exactly what they did. Just show that confidence in J.J. McCarthy. That he's got intangibles to him that made him the pick, that made you fall in love with him. Now, they did try to aggressively get Drake May. Some details of those proposals have trickled to public consumption. The Giants wanted May too, and May might be the MVP of the league. But you loved J.J. McCarthy. You drafted him for a reason. But, man, when you really kind of break it down position to position like you just did, Bob, have they really upgraded on the line of scrimmage like they thought they were upgrading?
The most money they played went to Will Fries, the right guard from the Colts, 5 years, 87.7, 34 guaranteed. Now, he's been on the field. He's been pretty good. I got no problems with him. He hasn't had a real bad game. We've seen them all. But the Kelly thing, the injuries, oh, boy, I don't know. And I was pushing for Darnold, right?
We both were pushing for Darnold all season long. But then I think we both kind of tapped out at the end. We'd have to go back and listen. I think we did. Got to call a spade. I mean, it was all, but it was, in fairness to us and our takes, like, it was ugly, right? And if you're a contending team, you need to grade those moments on a curve. Like, it matters so much more how you perform under duress when a division title is on the line, when you're in the playoffs, and you're a Vikings team that has been okay with being okay to just above okay at quarterback. I mean, they hung on to Kirk Cousins for a while, paid him a hell of a lot of money. Kirk Cousins was damn good, but Kirk Cousins had a ceiling. I think maybe that was the organizational fear with Darnold is, okay, how good is he really going to be? And if he plays well in those games, they get a deal done, I would think. He didn't.
They're the experts. They know the guy. They deal with him 24/7. They coached him for a full year, managed him for a full year.
And
Maybe they
let's
just
see
made a
JJ
mistake.
McCarthy. Like, let's see him, right?
They were 14-3, Tyler. This isn't, pee wee football or something.
Yeah. All right, let's keep
All right,
trucking. Okay.
let's go
Yeah,
to
I don't know. I
the.
mean, I'm interested to see where the Vikings go, though. Aaron Jones, his 21-day window opened up. I know they had big plans for him with Jordan Mason. That was a subplot to that offense. Jordan Addison was suspended to start the season. He's now back. It's a long season, and they've got a lot of talent. But I think I would want to see J.J. McCarthy at quarterback, not Carson Wentz, after what we saw against the Eagles.
Yep. All right, let's go to the Green Bay game. Okay. And okay, Green Bay wins it 27-23. They didn't face Joe Burrow on the road last week. They didn't face Kyler Murray this week. That's a huge thing. Green Bay, by the way, has been almost injury free. I mean, the one starter they missed in this game was Devontae Wyatt, and the Cardinals were down to their number 4 running back, Bam Knight, and they didn't have their starting QB. All right, so you asked me last week if I gained a lot of knowledge on Green Bay. Well, if you ask me again this week, I'd say not really. No, they beat a wounded team on the road by what? 4 points. All right, let's go to the offense. They've really cut back that drop rate this year at wideout. Yeah, the drops have not been a problem. They had a plane ride, 5 hours late. Okay. Did a walkthrough on the tarmac. Dobbs really is the favorite receiver, and his feet get him open, but he offers you almost nothing after the catch. I don't know if it's, he's had the concussions, but he cradles and falls. I mean, sometimes after the catch, he almost looks like he's enfeebled or something like that. He's a good player, and he's on the field a lot. 50 out of 56 snaps in this game. Okay,
It's a good
so
observation, Bob. I hadn't really thought about that. You're right. He catches a pass, and he'll catch that pass, but then he's down, hits the turf.
he's not running free where he's going to take all kinds of shots from linebackers coming back and zone drops.
Well, you have to. I think it's fair. I wonder if concussions are on his mind. He's one of the rare players that has the massive padding around his helmet. He's had multiple concussions. Maybe Romeo Dobbs is a smart one here. He wants to play a long
Could
time.
be.
He's going to save himself some hits.
Golden came off the big game, and then he only had 4 targets, caught them all for 37 yards. Yeah, 3rd and 4, made an 8-yard catch against the zone. 4th and 2, runs an out against Melton, gain of 7. Played good. He got a hold against Will Johnson, the rookie corner. Heath lined up offsides in the red zone. That was pretty bad. 23 snaps for him, 4 for Savion Williams, 15 for Wicks, and then he went out with some kind of injury. All right, tight end, Kraft. He KO'd Josh Sweat on a chip coming off motion. Brutal, but very effective. 3rd and 3, caught a screen for 22. Dropped the ball in the red zone in the flat. Scored a 7-yard touchdown when he beat Sweat on a leak out. 3rd and 7, he was in pass pro, leaks out, gain of 7. And then he ran a slot corner against Taylor Demerson. And that was 15 yards on 4th and 2. Was that the winning score? These games are running together, Tyler. No, I don't know. It was a big play.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Fitzpatrick played 16, and Musgrave played 24. So Musgrave, there's a 3rd and 1, and they run wide, and he failed to get that outside backer, and he was displaced by Sweat, knocked off. Then that knocked off Fitzpatrick, who couldn't get to Thompson, and the play was stopped. He's just not a good blocker. I'd like to see him more in the passing game, but Kraft, of course, is so good that they don't want to take any of the targets off of him. All right, the offensive line, just a few remarks. I mean, Arizona, they're a power rush team. I mean, they played really good with Nick Rallis, their underrated coordinator, and they were stout against the run. They played the pass good. Love was never really comfortable, I didn't think. Let's look at the line. Zach Tom is back. He played really good. I got him for one hurry. Morgan played the entire game at left guard, right guard. Sean Ryan never got off the bench. Morgan had 1.5 bad runs. He had only 1/2 pressure. He's heavy-footed on pulls. It's in keeping with their line. These are big people, especially Banks. You know, Banks, the left guard, the ex-Niner. He's a finisher. He's a slugger. He's a non-athlete. He's had some injuries. I think that's hurt his athleticism. But he is a big guy, and he will punish people. He had 1.5 bad runs. Calais Campbell got after him twice, and he had a false start. Jenkins played real good. Elston Walker, he gave up a bull rush sack to Zaven Collins in 4.0. It was a bad play, and he had an illegal formation on 3rd and 3. He was too far back. That's it on the line. Let's look at the running backs. You know, Jacobs is averaging, he's playing through a bad calf. Plays 31 snaps. Wilson played 19. The majority of his snaps obviously were in the second half when they wisely saved him, pitch count, and when the game was on the line, he did some really good things. Scored a touchdown. I mean, the middle was shut down on a 7-yard run. He bounced it wide, outran Mac Wilson and others to the pylon, and then he got a 1-yard touchdown later. I mean, he's a hell of a player. He makes quick cuts in line, but that 3.7 average, the only one of the top 25 rushers who has a lower average is Christian McCaffrey, 3.5. Wilson drags pile. We know him. Now let's go to Jordan Love. I mean, Tyler, when he had a lot of time in this game, he just spins a beautiful ball, doesn't he? I mean, it is one of the most picturesque, beautiful carbon copy. I mean, textbook. You want to watch him throw it. Man, he spins that thing. The RPMs on that ball might lead the league. It's a thing of beauty. 4th and 5 at the Arizona 38 early. Max protect. He's got all day. He's got Dobbs matched up against the safety, Jalen Thompson. And he overthrows him, you know. He had all day. He's taking deep drops. These are the big plays that aren't happening in Green Bay this year. Now, they might when they get Watson back, but right now it's not happening. 3rd and 7 on the Arizona 13. He goes to a covered Wicks in the corner, incomplete. He makes some odd decisions. 2nd and 4, real early. He gets the ball in shotgun, 2nd and 4. And he throws it out in the flat really quick. He hardly even looked downfield. I don't know if it was, I think it was for -1. Why? He took a sack in 4.0. He's tough as hell. He gets drilled by Budda Baker late in the 3rd quarter. He fumbles, recovers his own fumble. Then a play or two later, he scrambles up the gut for 12. I mean, the guy, he is a brilliant looking athlete. It's these odd decisions that he's very cool. He's expressionless. That's a rare trait in a quarterback, and an emotional cauldron of violence and noise all around him. Never changes expressions. To me, he's an enigma. I can't really get a picture on this guy. That roughing the passer penalty, that might have been half a dive on the part of Love. It worked, but Stills got that penalty, and he was really pissed. I guess I don't blame him. Then he fumbled a center snap, threw incomplete. 3-and-out in the fourth quarter. He's short on a 3rd and 6 to Kraft. He was open sooner before he threw the ball. He got a ball batted by Calais Campbell, and then he produces the winning touchdown drive, and they win the thing. So that's it for the offense. They haven't dominated anyone since week 1 when they tore apart the Lions, but yet they have the best record in the
In the
NFC.
NFC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan Love is a baffling quarterback right now, isn't he? That was a great breakdown. I mean, obviously, I've kind of been the president of the Jordan Love fan club here for a while now, pushing the Green Bay to trade Mr. Rogers a year before they actually traded Rogers. Just to think they could have had 3 or 4 first-round picks. Alas, they finally moved on, and it's going to be a hell of a spectacle Sunday night in Pittsburgh when Rogers and Love square off. We'll be discussing that one next week at the top of the podcast, I am sure. But every week you see why they did move on. I mean, it's not even really a debate. Obviously, they should have done exactly what they did, regardless of what happened Sunday night, because he is so much younger, and because he's got that spin on that fastball. He is athletic. He can take off. I mean, the way that he popped up after he just got blown up was so damn impressive. Or he wanted them to know, like, you didn't hurt me here. I think there is a competitiveness to him that teammates see and teammates appreciate, even if he's not Brett Favre tackling a teammate. Oh, by the way, did you see Broderick Jones tackle Aaron Rodgers Thursday night? Oh my God, everybody, if you haven't, do yourself a favor. Find that one. After Aaron Rodgers threw the touchdown to Freiermuth, and Rodgers was incredible in that Thursday night game against Cincinnati. He's doing his celebration that he did back in the day with Green Bay, right? The fist up and the little hop, skip, and a jump. Out of nowhere comes 320-pound Broderick Jones to celebrate and tackles Rodgers to the turf. And Rodgers gets up fuming, pissed, cursing. Oh, instantly goes from joy to pissed off at the world and just kind of storms off. I mean, I kind of get it. Like, he did tear his Achilles not too long ago. He doesn't want to tear his other Achilles. But I'm just trying to picture, Brett Favre in that scenario. And Favre would have probably gotten up and tackled Broderick Jones, right?
Yeah.
Little different reaction from the quarterback that Rodgers replaced. Love is just straight-laced. I kind of love it. I think it's, you talk about it each week. To me, it's such a strength as a quarterback to emotionally not get too high, not get too low. Because of what you saw against Arizona, it was not a pretty game for Jordan Love. But if you're not going to ride that roller coaster, you're going to make the throws when you need to make the throws. And he's done that more often than not, even this year. It hasn't been perfect, but I'd still want Jordan Love as my quarterback if I'm Green Bay over most quarterbacks in the NFL. And you're going to get Christian Watson back soon. I think that this offense has a chance to really vault into to a new level. I think you're seeing they were smart with Josh Jacobs, right? To not pound away in that first half with him, because then you saw what he had in the second half. There's a long game to play here if you're Green Bay. You're kind of seeing it with Buffalo here too in Western New York, where it's a little short-circuited offensively. They don't really know what they want to be, but I think a variable we have to consider is, okay, like what's that other gear that they don't want to tap into quite yet? And maybe it's because we've seen Jordan Love, right? The Toyota-thon. He just turns it on late in the season, that for whatever reason. And I think a lot of it is that he doesn't get too high, too low. He knows what matters most. And I'd feel good about him as my quarterback if I'm Green Bay overall.
All right, let's go to the D, Ty. A good story would have been this week to Parsons played 54 snaps and 22 he sat out. He played 71%. And I believe most of the plays that Jacoby Brissett made were with Parsons on the sidelines. Now Hutchinson plays, let's see what he played in this game last night. Hutchinson played 63 of 69, 91%. So he's playing a lot more snaps than Parsons. Who's more valuable? We could debate this, but he's playing more. And when Parsons is not on the field, that secondary is vulnerable. So let's look at Parsons' day. He got a knockdown quick between Paris Johnson and the ex-Lion Evan Brown. He did not take on a tight end who was pulling at him, gain of 9. He stuffed Higgins at the point of attack, the tight end, no gain. He got a sack, 3rd and goal at the 8. Now, Paris Johnson, the left tackle, is a hell of a lot better than Jonah Williams, the right tackle. But he beat him in 3.3. It was a hell of a sack against a really good young tackle, first-round pick in his 3rd year. Yeah, you don't beat Paris Johnson a whole lot, and Parsons did. All right, he gets the hip drop penalty, chasing down Brissett. That led to 3 points. He got a holding penalty on McBride when he set a good edge, the tight end. He was offsides on 3rd and 9 at the Arizona 20. Bad play. It was a free play then for Brissett, and then they scored a touchdown on the next play. Then in the 4th quarter, it got out of hand. He got a knockdown against Williams. He got a sack up the field against Williams in 2.9. He got a sack up the field against Williams in another 2.9. So he ended up dominating that 4th quarter after he had the terrible offsides. He's a stud 71% of the time. Boy, can they get him on the field more often? It may come down to that, Tyler. All right, Gary, he's seeing more single team, but I don't think he's having a great year by any stretch. He had 47 snaps. He had 1/2 a knockdown. He had a sack, forced fumble. Okay. So Van Ness didn't play. I don't know what his injury is. So they start, Enigbari played 32, and Sorrell, the rookie from Texas, played 30. Sorrell. Enigbari had a nice game. He had a flush against Johnson. He had a tackle for loss. Beat that hulking right guard, Will Hernandez. He flattened down, made a play coming down the line. He missed Brissett on a scramble. Sorrell had an offsides penalty with 2 minutes left in the game, 2-minute warning, game on the line. Who did they come out with in their rush? They got Parsons and Gary outside. They got Brooks at one DT, and they got Sorrell at the other DT. Interesting. So they trust this guy. All right. Who had a really good game was Colby Wooden. I think it was his best game of the year. 42 snaps. He had a tackle for a loss against Froholt, the center, -4. He penetrated, gain of 0. He stuffed Froholt, gain of 1. Came out of the stack and tackled McBride downfield on a screen, gain of 4. He stuffed the number 6 lineman Beecham, no gain. I mean, that's 6 plays right there. That's a hell of a day. The guy has put on weight. I'd love to know his weight. He's a pretty good player. He's been their best inside guy. Brinson, second time we saw Warren Brinson, the rookie from Georgia. Yeah. He got wham blocked by a former Packer, DeGora, on a gain of 9. He didn't see that trap coming at all. Carl Brooks had 1 hurry and 1 knockdown, both against the guard, Evan Brown. Stackhouse, the run stuffer, played 14 snaps. All right, let's go to the backers. Okay, Quay Walker played 60, got injured, and then I think he returned. Cooper played 14, McDuffie 32, and Hopper, first time we saw him, played 3, but it wasn't an eventful 3. Let's start with Hopper, the kid from Missouri. He's really an interesting player, Tyler.
We got to know him over the offseason. It was fun.
Oh, yeah. Tyron Hopper.
Yeah.
3rd round pick, which was a bit of a reach from the ones I talked to. 6'1.5", 228, ran 4.71, tested great athletically. So in this game, he comes in at Sam Backer after Walker was out. They moved McDuffie inside. and then Hopper went over the tight end. First play ran right at him. He got pancaked by Paris Johnson, gain of 9. I thought, whoa, brutal. Then the next play, DeGora comes in there and he just sent him on his way and discarded him into the ground right at the point of attack. And then he crashed inside from Sam Backer, beat a pulling Froholt to center, was in on a play for -2. I mean, that's 3 pretty eventful snaps. I want to see more, Tyler.
Yeah, bring him on. He's
Yeah.
ready.
He's looked good on teams. He's made some plays. I think he had a penalty or two, but he wants to hit people.
So for those who don't remember, yeah, I sat down with Hopper in Florida where he was training, and he takes us through his upbringing and just how he's kind of prepared himself after what was the final tally? He played all of 18 snaps last season, which wasn't easy for him. But what was maybe the most interesting aspect of Tyron Hopper's story is the coach who groomed him and pushed him hard in college. It was DJ Smith. Remember DJ in that Packers locker room? He started a handful of games for those Packers. I believe it was in 2011 and 2012, and his career was cut short to injuries, and he got into coaching. And this is somebody that was making calls for Nick Collins and Charles Woodson and Ryan Pickett, Clay Matthews. Think about all the talent that was around a young DJ Smith and the pressure that went into that as a middle backer. He knows what it takes to excel as a linebacker in the pros. And I get it. He coached them, and usually coaches are going to be banging the drum for their guys. But I always thought that DJ Smith was a straight shooter. He's not a bullshit artist. Here's what he said about Tyron Hopper. He is a dude, man. He's a starter. He's a starter in the National Football League. People are going to have to game plan for him. If he can get rolling, he's a Pro Bowler. Didn't hold back when we chatted on Tyron Hopper. He's athletic. His measurables are in that top percentile. I think it was all mental, right? If he can mentally keep up and know what the hell he's doing out there, as is the case for a lot of young linebackers, and if he can play on those instincts, he's somebody that you want on the field. There's upside. Just going to put up with a pancake or two.
All right, let's continue on after Hopper. Let's go to Quay Walker. He got a knockdown against Paris Johnson. He got a roughing the passer penalty on the thing on 3rd and 10, so that's a negative. He pulled up chasing Brissett one time. I have no tolerance for guys breaking stride and pulling up and not chasing hard. That was an extra 3 yards. He got a sack. He ran over Bam Knight, the run back, 2.6 seconds. He got a hurry against Paris Johnson around the edge. He was an edge rusher on that play. He got a sack against Michael Carter, the little tiny running back, in 4 seconds. He was late reacting to a Y stick to McBride, gain of 9. And he got a flush against Knight. So he had a pretty darn good game. Now let's go to Cooper. He went the wrong way early on a cutback, gain of 9, over pursued. I wrote down late reactor, but then he had a really nice man coverage in the end zone against McBride. Showed a nice trigger, beat Froholt, the center, to the spot, -2. Well, on McBride's touchdowns, I don't know. How long were those touchdowns? 15 and 12. People screwed up on that. I can't tell you who did, but the linebackers were involved, certainly, Cooper and Walker.
Pro Football Focus could tell you who screwed up, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
They're on it. Yeah.
Yeah, they would like to tell us that they know, but they don't know unless they're
right.
In
and then that ranking, it's going to be right there underneath their name on NBC.
Don't get me going. They don't know. And they know they don't know, but they do it anyway.
Hey. Grifting. The art of the grift.
Third, yeah. No, we won't go there. Okay, third.
Well, we are. I guess we're there. There are some good people at PFF that work very hard. I don't want a blanket statement.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is a little crazy to see how it has become the end all be all. And I love that coaches like Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, a lot of these coaches, they're speaking out publicly in a way that they've spoken out to us. I mean, back at the Journal Sentinel days, I can remember talking to some of those assistants and drove them nuts back then. And maybe it wasn't even PFF around then. I don't know what the hell was around.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was just starting
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was starting off then. Yeah.
3rd and 2, he's late to the flat against Bam Knight, 5-yard completion. And then on that quarterback sneak that was stopped short, that crucial play, he was involved in that stoppage of Brissett. All right, we did Hopper. Let's go to the secondary. So with Parsons coming off that edge, when he's on the field 71% of the time, there wasn't a whole hell of a lot of time for Mr. Jacoby Brissett. You know, Tyler? Now, had Parsons not been on the field, he might have thrown for 500. There were people running free. Harrison, Zay Jones, the tight end was owning the middle of the field. McBride, Michael Wilson made a play. I mean, there's concerns about the secondary right now. So let's look at it. Hobbs first, plays all 76 snaps. Nixon played all 76. McKinney played all 76. Williams 64. Do we got them all? Hobbs, Williams, McKinney. Oh, Nixon, he played them all. Okay, and Bullard, I didn't write him down. Bullard, is it Bullard or Bullard, Tyler?
Let's go with Bullard.
Okay, Bullard, he played 61. All right, let's go to Hobbs.
You pronounce these names however you want, damn it. You're Bob McGinn. You've covered this game since 1979. You're in the Hall of Fame.
All right, Hobbs, a 5th-round pick in 21. He's 5'1", 5'11", and 3/8, 196. He ran 4.47. He's got great athletic testing numbers. Not real bright, 16 on the test. All right. Plays way off Marvin Harrison, who hasn't been much of anything in his first year and a half. Runs a deep out on him for a gain of 23. Campbell and Shepard, they don't put up with that. I mean, I know this is zone coverage, but I don't give a darn. They're not going to put up with a guy playing that soft. But Green Bay's got all this pass rush, you know. All right.
Why play soft on Marvin Harrison Jr. when he doesn't have top end speed? What's the logic in even playing soft?
Well, I think Harrison does have top end speed, Tyler.
You saw him a lot in those Michigan, Ohio State games. He does, really, because that was the knock.
What did he run? I forgot his 40.
I'll find it here.
Low 4.4s?
The scouts loved him, I remember, in your draft series.
Oh, yeah.
It was universal. He was drawing Calvin Johnson comparisons. Oh, that's not it. If I'll find it here for sure.
Okay, check my draft series. The 40 being there. Okay, so Hobbs, 3rd and 14, he gives up an up to Harrison, gain of 35. He misses a tackle on McBride. He gets a holding penalty against Harrison.
He didn't run a 40, Bob. He didn't run one.
Okay, that's right. Then he's in zone coverage. Jones runs a dig near him. Zay for 25. A rough outing. Nixon, he punched a ball out of Harrison on 3rd and 12, gave him his 10th pass defense to the year, and he now ranks tied for 2nd in the league. DJ Turner, Cincinnati first with 13. Nixon in there with 10. 3rd and 4, Wilson beats him, gain of 14. He jumps a post route to Jones in zone, left the corner open. McBride scores. Illegal contact penalty against Harrison. So that's last week was really a rough outing against the Bengals, and this one wasn't very good either. Valentine, they're not playing him. 2 snaps. Interesting. All right, let's go to Bullard. I thought he played pretty darn good in this game. All right, let's go to the safeties. McKinney played all 76.
Oh boy. Bob's shaking his head.
To me, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't add much. He can catch the ball beautifully. He shows range out of a 2-shell getting to the sideline, and he does have a knack for a ball that's bouncing around up in the air. He catches everything. That's his strength. And that Do I have to say that that's how he made the Pro Bowl or All Pro? To me, that's not enough. I mean, a great safety's got to be a hitter, got to be violent, and you got to disrupt plays with violent attacks on the ball. You got to do things, man. You got to be a force. You got to be the face of the defense. You got to get after people, and you don't see any of that with McKinney. There was that ball to Jones for 25. He didn't attack that off to the side. All right, and now Williams. Um, 3rd and 4. Wilson caught one for 19 between him and Nixon. He got a hurry against Higgins. I mean, he has shown ability to rush the passer on blitzes. He diagnosed a screen, eluded an offensive lineman, made the tackle, no gain. Nice play. They're in cover 2 now. He's got half the field. He's a step slow. And Zay Jones caught that ball at the boundary for 43. Now we know he's a step slow. He ran 4.59. That's why he lasted till the 4th round. 4.59 is really slow at that age. And he couldn't get to the boundary. That's his deficiency. And then he had a pass interference on 3rd and 5 against Harrison. Slot fade, and he didn't turn around. The penalty was 21. And then he had a fumble recovery. So Williams, there's a lot to like, and then there's just limitations. All right, let's go to the special team. This Haversick hit from 31, and then he hit a club record 61. And then they were going to try another one, and then LaFleur changed his mind and changed the track of the game. His kickoffs, he had 2 touchbacks out of 5. That's not good enough. Whalen, 3 punts. I know I'm in love with this guy. 58.0, 47.0. He knocks the hell out of the ball. Penalties on Mosby and Oladapo. They gave up a 39-yard kickoff return early in the 4th. That's it for the Pack, Tyler.
All right, a lot to sink our teeth into here, Bob. First thing, McKinney. You were at the forefront of this, even when he was picking off all those passes. I think that it's a really interesting point because on one hand, turnovers win games, turnovers lose games. You're willing to put up with a certain amount of BS if you're a team, a defensive coordinator, a safeties coach, for anyone who's taking the ball. I'm thinking back to, now granted, Darren Sharper would hit more than Xavier McKinney hit, but Darren Sharper wasn't this Darren Sharper would give up plays, right? I mean, you were watching him closely. I just remember being a young Packer fan out here and picturing him on the wrong end of some monster gains for the other team. But you were willing to put up with a lot of that if you're a Green Bay because he'd take the ball away. Xavier McKinney probably isn't nearly as physical as Darren Sharper, right?
No.
And if you're not getting the turnovers in bunches, it's liability, maybe a strong word, but what does he bring you?
He's not, Tyler, he ran 4.65 out of Alabama. They are really slow at safety here. Ballard is the fast guy at 4.45, and he's playing Nick. So you got 2 safeties, 4.65 and 4.59. They don't want to match them up. Hafley wants to stay in that zone, and that's another reason they got Parsons, so they can stay in the zone. They don't have to expose these guys in any coverage. We saw Williams get exposed a couple of weeks ago by Flacco, was it? I don't know, the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
McKinney, 2nd round pick in 2020, 6'1.5", 201, 4.65. He had 11 on the test. He's got good arm length. He was a junior. He was a polarizing player coming out of Bama. Now he's got these gifts to get to the ball. And I agree with you 100%. That's how the game has always been won, especially now because turnovers are at a premium. They're few and far between, really. But yet, I don't know what he adds.
I mean, we're going to get to Chicago here soon, but the last 3 games, they're at a +9 turnover differential. Ben Johnson admitted, like, that's the foundation of their team right now. Uh, they've got to work through a lot. They've been lucky in many respects, but they're taking the ball away and they coach it. Dennis Allen coaches it every day, and you can see it. Uh, yeah, Green Bay could use that out of Xavier McKinney, but you know what? At the other side of our mouth, Micah Parsons. This is why you pay him what you pay him. This is why you give up the draft capital that you gave up. There was a stretch there against Arizona where he looked like the best player in football. Just a complete takeover. Just every single play, he was a threat to grab a hold of Jacoby Brissett and lasso him, toss him, discard him, maybe force a fumble, maybe create something on the back end. I think that fear just has to live in the back of every quarterback's brain when Micah Parsons is on the field. Even, like we see the plays he's making. Beyond that, he just tilts the field in a way few players do. You know, T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, are on that level, I suppose. But Watt was pretty invisible Thursday night. Yeah, he's worth it. It's whether it's Parsons on defense and on offense, the way that Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft kind of took over. We always come back to the fact that Green Bay's been missing those A-level talents in January. And, this is what, year 7 for Matt LaFleur? They've got to figure out a way to get to a conference championship game, win it, get to a Super Bowl. You need stars. And these games are ugly. Cincinnati, Arizona, not exactly mopping the floor with them. But I think you're seeing a select group of players just take over the game in a way that you're going to need them to later in the season. Parsons to the extreme.
And Tyler, something else you need luck. You need Parsons on the field, and the Lions didn't have luck last year. Right about now, they lost
Hutchinson
for the
and
year.
Aleem McNeil.
That
Yeah.
doomed him, and McNeil, yeah. We'll get to McNeil later. All right. Okay, what game we going to now? The Bears?
Yeah, let's get to those Chicago Bears. Those 4-2 Chicago Bears after rattling Mr. Rattler to 4 turnovers. They got up 20-0. They gave up that long touchdown drive at the end of the first half, and they gave up a touchdown drive to start the second half. It's 2014. Chicago goes down. They're at 4th and goal, 1 yard line. Fumbled snap, and they catch a break. Speaking of luck, they get a little luck there on the double clutch from Mr. Dahlman. And they were able to kick a field goal. And really, that was the game to me. It's like 23-14. The way the Saints play offense, it's oof. Boy, we were giving them their props for fighting last week, but it just seemed like any play they might turn the ball over. But like I said, give Chicago credit. They're coaching it. And right now, they're forcing turnovers. And Ben Johnson, he's got the team running the ball well, man. Like their fits, their combination blocks. I'm sure you'll get into everything on the offensive line, Bob. But, out of the bye week, they've just kind of opened up the valves to this running game in a way that looks a lot like what you saw in Detroit. Let me just pull up the numbers here. Where the hell is it? 367 rushing yards on 67 attempts the last 2 weeks. And I really like that Kyle Manung guy out of Rutgers, 5'8", 207. He gives him a new dimension. So, Caleb Williams has not been that great. I mean, I guess he's not turning it over. So that's a good thing. And I guess he's not improvising and running all over the place. Ben has kind of reeled him in to a degree, but he's only completing 61% of his passes, 26 in the league. He leads the NFL in off-target throws. But when you're turning the ball over, when you're running the ball as well as they are, when you're getting a little luck, you're 4-2. What are your thoughts on the Bears?
They were 4-2 last year.
That's right.
And then they dropped 11 in a row. Is that right?
Yeah, they didn't win until Green Bay, right?
Yeah, they lost 10 in a row. And it started when Tyreek Stevenson went off the reservation in Washington. 10 in a row, a 10-game skid. All right, are they better this year? They looked pretty good at 4-2 last year too, you know.
Yeah.
New Orleans had not lost to Chicago since '08. They were 8-0, them Saints. Who's going to beat them Saints? All right, let's look at the so Komet got hurt, back injury. So, you know, Colston Loveland has had a very slow start. And but in this game he played more because he had to. 46 snaps. He caught 3 out of 4 balls for 24. He's got only 8 for 78 for the season. He got an offensive PI on an illegal pick. He ran an out over there against Justin Reed as a slot. I mean, he can do that. He played slot all the time at Michigan as well. He got a false start on the 13-yard line, brutal. And 4th and 2, he ran a V cut as a wing, gain of 7. Nice play. Komet had a false start. I think he's had a bunch of those this year, but I can't remember. All right. DJ Moore played 60. Adunze played 65. Zacchaeus 36 and Burden 19. Sticking with a tight end, you know that Smythe guy, Durham Smythe, came from the Dolphins.
That's right.
Pretty energetic blocker. This guy does a good job. You know, he's like Oliver in Minnesota, and Wright in Detroit. All right, Moore, gained of 26, broke some tackles. He always does. I thought he ran a poor route in the end zone on a skinny post that fell incomplete. He didn't help Caleb on that one. I just don't know about DJ Moore. He's not a classic wideout. He's just not that great a player. He's pretty good, but all right, Burden, the rookie, you know, they're still not playing him that much. 19 snaps. They like him on gadgets. Lost a yard on a reverse, but his speed does demand respect. He ran a turn in for 21, kept those DBs off him because of the speed factor. Okay, let's go to the line. The right guard, Jonah Jackson, was really physical in the run game. He made a big difference. He gave up half a sack when he whiffed on a really good player, this third-year man, Brian Brisset from the Saints. Gave up a sack in 3.7. Next to him, Darnell Wright. Again, he's a big man, and he was a good run blocker in this game. I got him for 1 bad run, 2 bad runs, and half a pressure. All right, let's go to the center. Dahlman, I mean, he had these 2 snapping snafus, which really kind of bogged down the offense. He also had a 4th start, or that one of them led to a false start on 4th and goal. Let's go to Thuney. Love the guy. I mean, he just plays good. He doesn't miss. He sustains. He shows pop even at his age. Guy's a hell of a guard, Tyler. Now let's go to Benedict. You know, he played with Gio Manu, the Lions' 4th-round pick a year ago. He played at British Columbia. What's that, the University of British Columbia? I don't know. I looked at their pro day stuff. Benedict has the short arms, and that's why he wasn't drafted. 32 and an 8th. I mean, that's really small for a guy 6'7". It's just freakishly short. In this game, this is his 2nd start at left tackle. Has he been better than Braxton Jones? Ben Johnson thinks so. He had a false start. He gave up a flush. He had another false start. He had a bad run against Brisset. He gave up half a sack to Chase Young on a bull rush. He didn't play as good as last week, I didn't think. He's not a disaster, but he's really a work in progress. So that's their front. Let's go to the running backs. Wow. Swift 37, Monangai 31. Let's start with Swift. First play, man. Ben runs that A gap with Swift, pounds it up in there, gain of 5. Cuts back, 11-yard touchdown. Hell of a cut. Vision. From under center, you know, Williams will line up under center, and then he just, Swift is 8 yards lined up behind him, and he just tosses it to him, and then he can go A gap, B gap, C gap. They give him the ball early, and he must like that. And they toss it to him, and he makes a read. He hits the hole in a hurry, this guy. He had 20 touches for 138 and one score. He had a 17-yard run. He executes cuts at full speed in the middle of the line. And he is not a dancer for his size either. He is a north-south guy. Now, he's a little undersized, but he's willing to sell out, and he's a north-south runner. Now, Manungai. All right. So I saw this guy. I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times. I saw him play at the game at Michigan, I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago, and he gained a lot that day. He's a really good back. I remember watching him at Michigan State, the final game last year, and he wore him out. He's a flowing A-gap kind of a runner. He got 16 on this one, broke 2 tackles on a check down. He had a hell of a block on Chris Rump the second on a blitz pickup. He had 15 touches for 94 and a score. And Roschon Johnson, he played 1 snap, got the ball, gained 11. 222 on the ground for the Chicago Bears. Wow. All right, now let's go to Caleb Williams. So he throws a bubble screen. He has the ball batted by Chase Young. He fumbles a shotgun snap, recovers -4. He's got the snafu inside the 10. Dahlman never let go. Is it cadence related? Yes. Caleb conceded that in his post-game presser. He throws the ball very well running to his right. Better than anybody in this division. I mean, he just zips the darn thing. Tight spiral, dead run, fire to Komet, gain of 15. He had another bubble batted down. He threw that interception on the deep out. He didn't read it well. He stared the guy down. Guy didn't lead to any points. 3rd and 17, it was picked. He's got crazy ability to extend plays. He extended one for 9.9 seconds, threw incomplete. Another one for 9.8. Madcap, threw incomplete, almost picked. He ran around 7.0. Took a shot running around right before the half, incomplete. Runs around for 8.1, incomplete. Runs around for 6.0. Then he found Swift for 15. Still, he took a knockdown on the toss. It's not been good for the team. It's not good for his self-preservation, his longevity. I don't know. But then, he takes a shot from the blitzing linebacker, Demario Davis, who's untouched. He drills Williams straight on. He hangs in there and throws a bullet to DJ Moore for 26. It was a hell of a play. He eludes a dead sack by Granderson, an old veteran that I love. He eludes a sack by Chase Young. Then he fumbles on 4th and goal at the 1, but there was a false start. So I don't know, just back and forth. I gave everything I wrote down. I mean, in this game, they kind of won despite him, but he wasn't that terrible. I don't know, passer rating of 61.7, but that doesn't tell the story. He never had a positive gain in this game. So he wasn't able to break through. That's it on the O, Tyler. Good
Yeah,
luck.
I mean, Ben Johnson, this isn't our words. I mean, Ben Johnson himself, he's been honest from day one with what he wants out of Caleb Williams, publicly, privately, and in not many words, he said, like, the offense is not what he wants it to look like. 6 games in the passing game, I should say, has not been efficient. So, completion percentage has been such an emphasis for him. They want that number up, and that is the number that I'm sure they're working on day to day, just to try to get some easy completions going. But he has been inaccurate, doesn't see the field at times. That Washington game, we talked about it. If Jane Daniels doesn't drop the ball, the play we're talking about is that 2-pointer where he's got the flat, he's got the 2-point play. It's right there. Maybe he comes around, right? He's a young quarterback. Maybe he just has to play in this system, get used to the play caller, get used to his receivers. If the Bears are going to win when it matters, they'll definitely need more out of their quarterback. In the meantime, Ben Johnson's been building up this ground game. They're forcing a lot of turnovers on defense. I'm sure you'll get into it right now. But yeah, they've got to get more. I think what's got to sting is when you see Drake May do what he's doing in Foxborough, maybe playing the quarterback position better than anybody. Maybe he's the MVP when it's all said and done this season. And your GM, your scouts are laughing him off the screen. Ryan Pohl says that the tape makes his chest hurt. So that is the backdrop to all of this. Now the Bears are 4-2. They're winning games. They're feeling good about themselves right now. Now they go to Baltimore. They go to Cincinnati. You went on the road against two very desperate teams. Then that they're going to need Caleb Williams to make plays in those games to win. If he does, that would be a massive step in his growth.
They have 16 takeaways. They got 4 Sunday. That's number 1 in the league. They lead turnover differential plus 11, Jacksonville plus 8. Okay. So it's like the days Peanut Tillman and Mike Brown and Tommy Harris, in quarterback's face. They were taking the ball away like crazy 20 years ago, 18 years ago. I remember those years. The Bears, I think, led the league in takeaways. And that's how they won for a while under Lovie Smith, I think it was. All right, that's what they're doing now. Montez Sweat, boy, best game of the year. He had a forced fumble on a sack. He ran to it, stripped from the side, set up a field goal. He flattened down the line, made a play. He stuffed that big old nasty guard, Trevor Penning, on a 3rd and 2, gain of 1. He stuffed the rookie tackle Banks, Kelvin Banks, on 4th and 1, no gain. He had a hell of a game. Billings started at the nose, played 27. He had 1 stuff, first play of the game. First play of the second half. He stuffed the rookie second-year tackle Fuaga, gain of 1. Dexter had a fumble recovery, Jervon. They ran at him. He can be displaced because he plays high. This game was 8. But he does have walk-back pass rush ability. I'd still like to see more. I'm sure the Bears would too. But, he's been a solid starter, and he's been dependable. Shamar Turner, jury's out, played 10 snaps, lost the edge on a zone read. Not sure yet. Dominic Robinson played a lot outside, 31. He messed up a wide run, -9. And Jonathan Ford, who I believe was drafted by the Packers in the 7th, he's another 330-pound guy. He had a run stuff for no gain. So the front was really good. Now let's go with the linebackers. You know more about Tremaine Edmonds, Tyler, from his days in Buffalo. I think this is maybe his 4th year in Chicago. And I was thinking he was getting a little long in the tooth. He's really bounced back. It's the best I've seen him play. He had a pass interference, 22 yards down the sideline. He was taken way deep on the play. He had a hurry on an up blitz against Penning. Took a very good angle and made a tackle on Kamara, but that's not easy in the open field, gain of 2. He smelled out a reverse, made the play. Unblocked on a sack. He made a nice spill of Spencer Rattler in 3.6, and he made another pick on a ball that was deflected by TJ Edwards. Edwards and Edmonds both played every snap. Okay, back to Edwards. On checkdowns, he's such an instinctive guy that he lacks speed, 4.87, but he's able to get close enough. And when people catch checkdowns, he was just drilling Kamara in the back. They had a couple jarring hits on those plays, and he tipped the interception. And then DeMarco Jackson is playing for the injured Sewell, and he had a breakup on a ball to what was that, Jawan Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the secondary. Good. I mean, they don't have Jalen Johnson, and he might be their best player on defense. Probably is the highest rated, but they don't have him. So they're playing Rayshawn Wright. And he was okay in this game. He had a fine interception. I mean, it was a hell of a play on a dig to Olave on 3rd and 9. Returned the thing 39, 38. It was a hell of a play. He gave up a 14-yard touchdown to Olave. Can't read my writing on an over route. He got injured, came back. I like to see that. Broke up a slant to the speedster Shaheed later. Good game. Stevenson, he's been playing better now in the last month. He broke up an out to Olave. He covered Olave deep, incomplete. He made a big sideline hit. And then he got beat deep by Olave off of short motion, gain of 58. The nickelback, very important. They got Kyler Gordon back. I mean, he's a terrific guy. He can come off the edge. He had a great sack coming off the edge against Kamara, 3.0, looked like a screen pass. Got the sack. He had a hard hit against Kamara. Got an unnecessary roughness penalty. Kind of tough. All right, Brisker, he missed more than half the year last year with a concussion. Brisker is a big part of this defense. He's got 4 picks. No, Byard. Let's stick with Brisker first. All right, he shed a defensive lineman, made a hit, gain of 2. He's a reckless blitzer on a hurry. He throws his body around. I love seeing it. He had a sack. He bull rushed through Kamara, 3.4. I'm not sure the Saints really wanted to play that much, Tyler. He had a knockdown on a blitz. He got a roughing the passer penalty. And then he got a hit on the rookie running back, Devin Neal, gain of 1, just kind of a slicing tackle. Now let's go to Kevin Byard. He's the ex-Tennessee Pro Bowler. He's got 4 picks now, tied for the league. All right, Olave caught touchdowns of 21 and 14. In each case, Byard was just not violent at the ball. Leroy Butler always used to tell me that. Get up there and get after people. Knock that ball out. It's easier to knock it out than for them to catch it. Get after it at the catch point. And he just wasn't violent either time. He intercepted a bomb. He made nice tracking on the play. Really great. Set up a touchdown. He had another interception in his hands, but his teammate Wright jarred the ball out. Okay, McLeod played 23 as a Nick dime. All right, Moody keeps banging him. He's 4 for 4, hit from 27, 39, 24, and 33. 2 touchbacks out of 7 kickoffs. That's not good. Taylor, 3 punts, 43-0, 43-0, 46.1. That's it for the Bears. They are now 4-2, Tyler.
Yeah, takeaway on defense for Chicago. I thought Tremaine Edmonds was probably the best player on the field for either team. This is a guy in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I thought was wildly underwhelming for where he was drafted, for his size, for what you think he could give you. And it was a running joke locally whenever anybody would reference his age because he came into the league so young. He'd be 4 or 5 years into his career. Oh, Tremaine Edmonds, all of 21 years old, still do it was always what he could become, the upside.
Right.
And it was pretty telling that Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott did not re-sign him, did not get him to that second contract when this is a guy they traded up for, I believe, in that draft, the same draft as Josh Allen, viewed him as the quarterback of their defense for years to come. And, you look at the other side of Tremaine Edmonds, and it seems like everybody's getting re-signed to a second deal. Khalil Shakir, Terrell Bernard, Christian Benford, Gregory Rousseau. Well, they didn't do that with Edmonds for a reason. He just didn't make game-changing plays. And he wasn't that great versus the run. At least it was average at best. But Dennis Allen has unlocked something inside of him. Because I think even in Chicago, before Allen got there as DC, there was some angst like Roquan Smith was in your building, and you let Roquan Smith leave. And his replacement has not been as good at 4 years, 72 mil. 6 games in, you got to love what you see in Tremaine Edmonds. And I think the takeaway for me, Bob, is, and you've gotten to know coaches across the NFL, man, who you hire on your staff matters so damn much, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you're a first-year head coach, if you hire a shitty staff, you're going to get shitty results because you're not going to maximize the personnel that you have. And it seems simple, but these are the coaches. Their hands are on these guys every day. And there's a lot of mediocre coaches out there. And so that's why it's so important. I mean, you could tell Ben Johnson, he's the top coaching, the top coaching candidate 2 years running. He knew who he wanted to hire from Detroit and elsewhere, implemented it, and they're getting the most out of these guys. And the cupboard was pretty bare at certain positions with what Ryan Poles has done as GM. But man, they are squeezing every ounce of talent that they can. And Tremaine Edmonds is just the perfect example of that. I mean, look at Gerard Mayo. I mean, it's in his contract that he's going to take over for Bill Belichick. But when he takes over, he didn't really piece together a very impressive staff. There were some good coaches on there. Love Alex Van Pelt. We talked to him back in his Green Bay days, but from you talk to people around the league, and they were very underwhelmed by Gerard Mayo's staff, and thinking, man, if you knew you were going to be head coach of the Patriots, that's what you have, and it showed, right? It showed on the field, and it showed on the
Yeah,
field for Chicago for the right reasons.
yeah. I'm sure Elliot Wolf noted that, and then talked to Kraft about it, and yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the fourth game. Detroit last night, 24, Tampa Bay 9. Um, Tampa Bay has a lot of injuries on offense. Detroit has a lot of injuries on defense. I think the home field really swung this thing. I think Tampa's really good, and Detroit might be good too. I don't know. All right, let's stick on the offense. I mean, Gibbs won the game, right, Ty? I
Oh
mean,
my God.
completely.
I mean, I've got
Two,
David Montgomery on a fantasy team, but yeah, you can't fault the Lions for force feeding Gibbs at this point. How do you not give him the ball more when he does that? God.
20 touches, 218, two scores, breaking tackles, spinning, running. I mean, Goff couldn't do anything outside if he didn't have those nice flat passes, which he throws precisely and at the perfect time and position to allow running after the catch. But if he didn't have these flares to Gibbs, I don't know where they would have gone.
Yeah.
They had St. Brown in the first quarter, and then that kind of went away. They didn't really have a consistent run game, but they had these bursts by Gibbs that just doomed the Buccaneers. They walked out of there thinking, we didn't play that bad. And boy, it was a noisy stadium, though, it seemed like, didn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with the wideouts. St. Brown, 10 targets, 6 catches. I don't have much to say about him. Oh, the one thing was interesting. He and Tyke Smith, man, the second-year guy from Tampa Bay. Did you see what they had going on? Oh, that was interesting. I probably saw it 6 times on the tube. Tyke, man, was out to kind of make a name for himself, and he had a hell of a rookie year last year, old Tyke. He was a third-round pick from Georgia,
Georgia. Yeah. One of those Georgia DBs.
and he was out to trash talk, man, and to get up in his grill. And it happened. They collided in blocking situations in the run game twice early, and neither one appreciated what the other was doing. And they were the same height, just grill to grill. This went on a lot. It was really interesting. Tyke, man, he's a cool dude. All right. 58, 5/8 snaps for Jamo. Boy, the guy's got the patience of Job. 2 targets. I mean, he hasn't hardly had the ball now for 3 or 4 games. I thought, now Goff didn't have a lot of time. There was a lot of pressure from that Vail-led inside push. I mean, people in his lap. Tampa Bay doesn't have great names, but Diaby and Reddick, those are pretty good pass rushers. Bowles obviously is unconventional, and he will get you with third line pressure from deep. And then the front just kind of backs people down. This a young Brewer guy's a fire plug, and Vea and Hall and Gaines. I've kind of liked Gaines forever with the Rams or whatever. So there wasn't a lot of time, but still. So Williams, he got the illegal contact probably out of just frustration on 3rd and 6 against the rookie Parrish, the nickelback. And then he got an offensive PI against McCullum, the corner. But he's just kind of out there, clear out decoy stuff. It's interesting, man. Raymond played 30 and Tesla played 9. So Raymond's back in good graces. He had an illegal block penalty. One time he came in motion and drilled old Tyke Smith with a block from the play side. Came off motion, he got Tyke. All right, the tight ends, Laporta, I mean, he didn't get a target till the 3rd quarter. Goff was just zoomed in on St. Brown, anything downfield, and then he was throwing to the flats. Laporta had 3 catches. I didn't think he blocked that great. He had a bad block on a bubble screen. Brock Wright, he had a knockdown, gave up a knockdown to Hassan Reddick on the first play of the game. He had a bad run when he slipped, gain of 1. 3rd and 2, he caught a ball on the flat against Tyke for 12. Influenced Tyke. Tyke took the bait and he beat him the flat. And then he buried Levante David on the 2nd Gibbs touchdown. Okay, the offensive line. So Decker's back off the shoulder injury. He missed 2 games, and that was huge. Now, right away, he gives up a strip sack fumble to Diaby. That was 3rd and 4 at the buck 35. He got a bad run. He didn't get the linebacker -2. He had a false start. He had a bad run. He missed Diaby, and he had a knockdown to Vea on a ball that was intercepted. So, Decker wasn't great, and they just need him on the field, and now they got a bye, so he's got 2 weeks, and they got to get that shoulder right because we saw what happened with Manu and Skipper. The other tackle, Sewell, was fantastic, I thought. He had a false start, but he just played great. There was no pressure over on his side whatsoever. Inside, Glasgow was pretty darn good, man. He's belly to belly against Vea, and he didn't back down. I got 1 bad run for Glasgow. Ratledge and Mahogany were not as good as Glasgow. Ratledge got killed by Vea -3. He didn't cut Vea -2. He had a great combo block on Gibbs in the long touchdown in the B gap. He gave up a flush to this rookie Rogers from SMU, Elijah, who played a ton. Interesting. And he had a bad run. He missed Cervosea Dennis on a pull. Mahogany had 1 hurry, 1 bad run, and then another knockdown. And that's it for the line. All right, let's go to Goff. His first touchdown pass for the 7-0 lead, he had pressure in his face. He threw a dart to St. Brown. It's a hell of a throw. He took a strip sack. I mean, held the ball 3.6 at the Tampa 35. That's what he just cannot do, Tyler. He can't get out, We know that's his limitation, and it was just so glaring right there. He delivers those balls in the flat, man, fast and on time, pinpoint accuracy. You think it's so easy, and I guess it kind of is, but when balls go awry, then you see the difference. 4th and 2 on the 15, he overthrew Tesla on the fade against Morrison. Campbell went for it, and then the play didn't work. He had a ball batted by Roberts at the line. He threw low on 3rd and 5 to Jamo. He took a sack by Tyke Smith. Didn't see him coming off the edge, 2.6. Interception on the next play. Zone. He got knocked down on the play, but it was a poor throw. I don't know. It's one of the worst games he's played this year, certainly. And then Gibbs. I saw Billy Sims. He joined the Lions in 1980, and he was more of a workhorse, but he could run too. And then I saw all of Barry Sanders. And this was the excitement of Barry Sanders last night, Tyler. The Detroit crowd, you could just feel it in that place, the way Sanders used to light up the Silverdome. Boy, the flair. He made Dennis miss over there on the side, gained an extra 26. Made Hall miss in line, gain a 9. They leave him alone in the flat, gains 24. KOs Lamont David on a Levante on a blitz. He broke a tackle by Diaby in the backfield. 78-yard, got the open hole, made a great cut to get to it. Winfield had no chance, even though he had the angle. Smart and decisive in blitz pickup. Not real big, but boy, he knows what he's doing in the pass game. He made Hall miss in the backfield, gain of 3. 28-yard pass in the flat. Winfield got him down at the 5. Amazing. 5-yard touchdown, spinning away from the pack. 4th and 1. What a play. Right end. Eludes Nelson, the edge guy. Then fights his way through, gains the 300, probably 30-pound nose, and Winfield to get that yard, get the 3rd and 1. What an effort. And Montgomery, 15 touches for 39. He didn't have much of a chance at the end. So that's it for the Lion offense, Tyler.
Do you have to take that call, Bob?
No, I do not.
All right. It could be a scout.
Nah,
checking in.
Not today.
All right. All right. Yeah, I mean, I thought that it was a good win. It was a healthy win for Detroit to face Baker Mayfield. I get it. The Bucks are undermanned as well, but there might have been a leg whip in there on a key play. But I was really impressed with the Lions defense. They're playing for Kelvin Shepherd. You mentioned that earlier this season, how these guys just love playing for this coach, and you can sense it. A lot of Al Quadin Muhammad-like temperaments out there on that defense. And then offensively, I'm with you on Gibbs. Man, is he fun to watch. He gets 0 to 60 faster than anybody in the sport. Really? I mean, really, who's even on his plane right now? Bijan Robinson, thinking of that touchdown against the Bills last week. The list is short. And I get you got to blend in David Montgomery. You got to bash away a little bit. I get that. If you're a linebacker out there trying to tackle one running back versus the other, and they're so different, yet they can both play in any situation. It doesn't seem like they're pigeonholed with either guy in any situation. 3rd and long, 4th and short, 1st and 10. Doesn't matter. Whoever's fresher, whatever you want to unleash. But I would want to unleash Jahmyr Gibbs even more than they are right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's look at the Buck offense. The right side of their line is missing. Gadecki, the guy from Whitelaw, Wisconsin, I think Brilliant High School, who's a hell of a right tackle. He's already been paid. He's on IR. And they don't have their right guard, Cody Mock, who's a hell of a player. So they're starting Charlie Heck, who's been in the league forever at right tackle, and he got destroyed as the game went on. And Mike Jordan, who was on the practice squad, they activated him and they started the guy, and he went the distance at right guard. So they're hurting up front, and they're fighting noise, and Detroit's decimated in the back half. It was whether Mayfield could exploit the back end, and he threw 50 balls back there, but surprisingly, shockingly, he didn't. And his protection was not good, but it wasn't terrible. All right. They didn't have that outstanding running back, Bucky Irving. Every time I see that guy, I like him more. They didn't have Chris Godwin, and they didn't have Mike Evans from the middle of the second quarter on after a broken clavicle. So, they're down all these weapons. I love Todd Bowles, and I really think he's got a hell of a club, and they may meet again. All right, so let's look at the pass rush. Hutchinson. He gets 0 sacks, Tyler. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And in awarding sacks and pressures and things, I'm a lot more conservative than some of these other things. I keep reading a guy had 12 sacks. Anyway, I got him for 7 sacks, 7 pressures, 6 against Charlie Heck, and 1 at the end against the great left tackle Tristan Wirfs. He played 91% of the snaps. He got the fumble recovery he got. He was hustling back from the rush. Boy, I'll tell you what, though. I don't think old Aiden was hustling back hard on that touchdown by Tez Johnson. You check the tape on that one. He broke stride. He wasn't
I'm
bringing it.
gonna. All right, you keep talking. I'm gonna check that tape right now.
Is he so exhausting that he couldn't go? Um, I don't know. Aleem McNeil didn't go on that one either. Um, One time they, you know, in individual periods in practice, Tyler, they got those bags down and the D linemen do the chiclet feet kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This was just a classic example of that. They pull a tight end at Hutchinson, and he just, real quick little staccato steps over the tight end, and he stopped Tucker, gain of 3. Should have been about a gain of 7 had he not gotten over that stuff through the trash. It's a hell of a play. So, yeah,
Oof.
0 sacks for Hutchinson, but another great game.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding on that touchdown. I didn't notice it in real time. Tez Johnson, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Old Aiden, he kind of looks like, me in the basement trying to chase those kids around at 7:30, 7:45 at night when they just want to, have a dance party to the bird is the word, and I'm trying to corral them for bedtime. That's he kind of lumbering about. Uh, Not that good. It's strange. I think it's
He might
strange because of who it is. You never
he
see Aiden
might have got
Hutchinson.
there. Don't you think he might have got there?
Yes.
Yeah.
He kind of assumed at about the 10, 9, 8 yard line. He's kind of assuming it's a touchdown.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
what he's assuming.
Is it nitpicking? No, it's not. Guys like Rod Marinelli
He didn't
and Jim
expect Tez Johnson to
Washburn.
have to pull up.
I'll tell you 3D line coaches who would not have allowed him to get away with that. Rod Marinelli, Bill Kohler, Jim Washburn. He was in Detroit for a while, I believe. Those guys, hustle was everything to them. No loafing ever, period. Hutchinson is an all-time worker, but we got him once, I guess, Tyler. Okay.
We got to call balls and strikes here on
Yeah,
the
you
Ty and
do.
Bob pod. That's right.
All right. At the other end, they started Lacey, the tough guy, who's not a rusher. Well, not really. He played 17. He was okay. So then Muhammad played 47, who you wrote a great profile on, by the way, live from Allen Park Thursday or Friday it was. That was
Thank
quite a
you.
read, Tyler. That was unreal. Man, what a guy he is. And he
He's a
plays
bold
like it.
fella.
You watch him, and that story just comes right through that 96 jersey. He got a knockdown against the tight end, and he got half a sack on an up against Mike Jordan. Muhammad wasn't great in this game, but at the end he got his half sack, and I think he's got 5 for the year now or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to okay. Then they play Tyrus Wheat, who on the final cut early September they get him on waivers from Dallas. Yeah, so they play him 9 snaps. Hell, the guy's a revelation. He got a forced fumble against Heck on an up. He got half a sack on that one. And then he beat Heck, who was just in the tank, must have been exhausted beyond belief. In a sack and 3. He got a sack and a half. Wheat did. Wheat, maybe now he's going to get on the field because of that. Reeder only played 18 because they were in pass mode so much, the big man. But at the end, he got 2 knockdowns right in the last 2-3 minutes. One against Jordan, one against that really good center, Graham Barton. Now, Williams, the rookie from Ohio State, the first-round pick, about through 3 quarters, I write down, he has no rush to speak of. I mean, he was just kind of standing there. But then he got a knockdown against Jordan, who also fell apart late. And then he whiffed on that fumble recovery on the Muhammad sack. All right, now let's go to Aleem McNeil, right? First game off the ACL. Tyler, he looked like a man possessed that first 10 snaps. Did you see those red shoes he was wearing and what he was doing?
Oh yeah.
Just so strong, so just pent up fury coming out of every pore of his body. He was just attacking, shoving people back, discarding anyone in his way.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, is this going to continue? Well, it did. No, he petered out. He ran out of gas, and he didn't really do much in the second half. So we got a flush against Barton. He got a 3rd and 3 batted ball against the double team. On the sack by Barnes, he set it up by knocking Barton down. He showed no pursuit also on Tez Johnson's touchdown. He's another culprit along with Hutchinson. And he didn't start the second half. I think he started the game, didn't he? Did he not? I think he was on the field. Yeah, he was. He started. So he's got to get in shape in these next 2 games. He played 44. That's too much. But he should be a great compliment to Hutchinson, and as Muhammad has been too. All right, that's it there. You want me to continue to the rest of the defense?
Yeah, just finish it out for us here, Bob.
All right, we'll finish the D. All right, Campbell and Anzalone played 69 each, all of them. Campbell, man coverage on Rachaad White, instant reaction on a screen, beat Heck -2. Everybody saw it. It was a great play. He's kind of like Quay Walker. I think I maybe said this. When he hits you, it's over. Period. It's just he has that explosion in his body. When he hits people, it's over. And then he had good man coverage in the end zone corner against White. Now Anzalone, Kelvin Shepard asked so much of this guy in coverage. 4th and 5, man coverage against the tight end Otten. He beats him for 9. 4th and 3, man coverage against Otten. He catches the ball. I'll tell you what, though, had Anzalone not been hustling and so athletic, that extra couple inches that they detected in replay wouldn't have happened. He would have had a first down, stopped them an inch short. Cunningham, a guy they love, a former 2nd-round pick. People raved about this guy during training camp. He's a 2nd-round pick 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he's 6'3.5", 235. He played 3 snaps. He showed really nice speed to the flat when he went in for Barnes. Barnes played 61. He had 2 batted balls, and he had a sack out of a 3-man rush. Barnes is fine. Now let's go to the secondary. All right, the top 5 of the top 6 are suspended or injured, and they're playing with just guys off the street. So let's not belabor it, but they all held up. I mean, Harper plays all 69, guy from Saginaw Valley State up the road here. I mean, he played good. He's 5'10", 189, ran 4.5 flat. He had a 42 vert. He missed Tez Johnson on that touchdown at the 3-yard line. He made a really nice open field tackle of Rachaad White, and he broke up a ball to Egbuka. Mollett, who's been around like 9 years. All right, he's playing the Nick. He gets the interception on a great play against Otten, took the ball away from the big guy. 3rd and 3 on a pivot route. Shepard gets it for 4. Hurts his right leg, comes back, holds Shepard on 4th and 5. He was fine. Robertson, he got beat for a 39-yard touchdown by Egbuka, but the ball was underthrown. He did get beat for a touchdown by Tez Johnson, but it was a bad throw and the ball went incomplete. He forced a fumble again. He punched it out of Shepard, right-hand punch. Didn't set up any points. He hammered White in the flat. He got a holding penalty. He's just a good player, and they got to keep him healthy. All right, Yasin. He went out with cramps in the 4th quarter, didn't return. He covered Evans pretty darn good before he broke his clavicle. He went stride for stride. He didn't back down. That was a very pleasant development. He's kind of like Kendall Vildor 2 years ago. You come to Green Bay and you play for these guys and you kind of play over your head a little bit. Whiteside entered the league 3 years ago. He's 6 foot 200. He's slow. He had an estimated 40 time, a 4.65. I don't know if he ever ran a 40. Breaks up the 2-pointer to Otten. Plays corner, had a great tip of a fade to Egbuka, break up an end zone to Egbuka, incomplete to Egbuka, 4th and 8, broke it up. Whiteside was unreal when you look at the numbers. And then starting safety Eric Hallett plays all but 5 snaps. Yeah, they're talking about him getting run over. Nothing. He stuck his nose in there and made the tackle. Who cares? He gave up an extra 1.5 yards. And then he gets shoved aside. He bounces right back up and gets in on the tackle. I loved his aggressiveness. He didn't stay down. Like a dog, you kick a dog and they stay down. This guy was jumping up. I thought it was
Kick a
awesome.
dog.
He missed a tackle on the 14 on Johnson on the touchdown. That was bad. And he made an excellent tackle on Shepard. Strickland played 14 snaps. Another guy just out of nowhere. And then they play the ex-Seahawk, the tall guy, Flowers, 3 snaps. All right, enough of all that, people. Bates banged one in from 58 off the right upright, missed from 54. Kickoffs were good. Of the 5, 3 of them were outside or even with the numbers. That's the key on these kickoffs. Fox, 5 punts, 51-2, 44-4, 4.42. That's it on Detroit, Tyler.
I just feel bad for the dogs in your life, Bob.
Well, I
A
love
proverbial
dogs.
kick.
All
A
right.
proverbial kick, right? You're not
Yeah,
actually.
I love dogs. Okay. I don't want that understood.
I love dogs too. They're the best. Where's Eddie? I got to get Ed in here for some podcasts. All right. That was a hell of a breakdown, per usual, from Bob McGinn. You can only get that here at Go Long, position by position, player to player, who played well, who didn't play well. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers versus Jordan Love Sunday night. I imagine that will be the topic of discussion next week. What other matchups we got here? All right.
The
Hang with
Vikings
me.
play Thursday.
Right, Vikings, they've got the Chargers. The Bears have the Ravens. And the Lions must have a bye week. Yes.
Yeah, bye.
Do you have a McGinn memory for us? For a little
Yeah.
dessert?
Okay. So the other day I was out for a long walk and I just thought of all those days watching Packer practice, until 92. No, wait a minute. No, under Holmgren, they were all open most of the time, regular season. Anyway, just a ton of thousands of practices on South Oneida Street and Nitschke Field, as you've been there for 5 years, Tyler, so you know the scene. And I thought of a guy, an employee, who one player, might have been 2 players, once told me that he's the hardest working guy here, Bob. And you know who that is? That's Mr. Brian Nearing, Bryan Nehring. Brian, he's in his 46th year at Green Bay. You won't find any features on him. I don't believe anything's ever been written about Brian. 46 years. Let's tell the story about Brian Nearing. And it involves practice. But let's get his background. His first camp season with the Pack was 1980 at Bart Starr's 6th year. He worked in training camp. He worked as a trainer in camp. And he eventually graduated from UW La Crosse in 83, degree in athletic training, health education, athletic training concentration. Then he kept working for the Packers in the summer and then when he could, but he worked full-time at Lawrence University in Appleton as an athletic trainer, an equipment manager, and strength coach for the Vikings of Lawrence University at the Banta Bowl. What a beautiful venue that is. I've seen games there. Tried to go every year. Love the place. You ever seen the Banta Bowl? Oh,
Yes.
picturesque.
Yes,
Have you?
we went.
Did you go with me?
Yeah, I think we went to one.
Down on the river by the paper mills and stuff.
Absolutely. We went to a game once.
Yeah.
It took me
Yeah.
a second there to remember. Yeah, that
Real high stone.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back there. So then Brian got hired full-time by the Pack in 86 as assistant equipment manager. And that's a title he holds to this day, 40 years later. He worked under Bob and Jackie Knoll, the longtime equipment czars, for about 6 or 7 years. All-time characters. And then he worked under Red Batty from
Yeah.
94 until 24 or 23. I think Red's been gone a year or two. And then they hired Batty's replacement, and Brian. Brian now is about 65, married, two daughters. I think he's got about 65, still going full time. Now, his job, Tyler. So, to people who obviously you've never been to a regular season practice, some have been to training camp, but Brian's out there probably 60 to 90 minutes before practice. During individual period, you do stretching and all that. And then individual, the horn blows, and all the position coaches are all scattered all around the field. Well, they gotta have what word do I want to use? Props, man. They gotta have footballs, they gotta have bags, they gotta have stuff exactly where they want it. And that's Brian's job. Even now, he's in charge of practice field logistics, I guess you would call it. Okay. Now I've seen coaches. Brian is a no nonsense, hard working dude, man. And if anyone does his job to perfection, this is Brian Naring. But I've seen coaches who are having a bad day get pissy with him. Maybe there's only 4 balls there instead of 5. Now, granted, he's got to set up 5 or 6 or 7 individual sites. Yeah, and they get upset with poor Brian. Everybody loves Brian in that place, man. Maybe when they didn't have goalposts on the practice field, he'd have to get in the golf cart and drive the goalposts into perfect position. And then the special teams could kick their field goals. It's all got to be, Bart Starr wasn't quite as perfectionist or punctual, but nowadays these guys are just, oh my God, it has to be just by the book. You can't have the players on their feet 2 extra minutes. We can't go over 90 minutes or 65 minutes. And Brian's the one who has to take all this crap from if it's not exactly perfect. Now, all these sons of the coaches, sons of executives, various interns in the summer in the yellow shirts, he's in charge of all those guys. They report to him. Some of these guys are kind of screw ups. And if they screw up, it's up to Brian to reprimand them. He, like Bob Harlan's sons, Kevin and Brian, and I think Mike, I think all 3 of them were training camp interns. Brian Naring was their boss. He repped Green Bay Packers at the draft several times when that was going on. He was in charge of the air horn. He was in charge of like everything. Now on game day, he inflates the balls on Saturday home game and loves in there. He's always done that. This guy, nobody really knows about him. I don't know that. One time I did a story on Jarrett Bush because he stayed real late after practice.
I remember that story. It was great.
Doing like 20, 30 minutes. Well, I hung around and was watching the thing. Well, who's out there? The last 2 people. There's no fans. I'm outside the fence watching Jarrett and Brian Naring. He's got to pick up whatever, maybe some bungee cords or something, whatever Jarrett was doing. So I asked Brian when he came around the corner, and Brian answered a couple of questions that nobody else does this, and Jarrett's always done this. Ooh, and then I got lectured a day later after that story appeared. Oh no, you can't talk to Packer personnel. There was a great piece on Jarrett Bush showing this guy work like a maniac and how Brian Naring is the guy in charge of this place. But no, we couldn't do that. He loads trucks for road games. This guy, no one knows him. He's one of these little people, Tyler, that he's an old fashioned, and all he does is work. The guy's worth his weight in gold, man. Yeah. And I think every coach and player who's ever been there would know that too. Brian Naring.
I Googled the name as soon as you mentioned it, and it just to jog my memory. And the second I saw a picture of Brian, I immediately had flashbacks to him zigging and zagging nonstop during the course of a practice, getting everything to everyone all the time. I mean, just beads of sweat going down the temples, just a maniac out there just to make sure practice can happen. I mean, you wonder, like, there is no practice without Brian Aaron. I love the tribute here, Bob. That is fantastic because he's one of those guys we see him every day, but I knew nothing about him. I don't think anybody really does, but just such an integral, unsung hero to a football team. I'm sure every team they need people like him to even have a practice, have a game. So that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. That was great.
The one thing I feel bad about, it was like my last year or something, or maybe a couple of years before I took left. And he bought my Super Bowl book and he asked me to autograph it. And then he was going to bring it and he forgot and we never got the thing signed. So someday, Brian, that'd be fun.
All right. That was great. Thanks so much, Bob. Thanks so much to everybody out there for listening, sharing. And also, I never say this, make sure you rate, review wherever you listen to the podcast. Let us know what you think. That's how we keep this thing growing. As always, we'll make sure that the video is at the site for paid subscribers. And as I mentioned earlier on the podcast feed on different episodes, we are now part of the Believe podcast network, kind of separating church and state a little bit with the words that go along the podcast and the podcast world. But yeah, would love it if you shared all of our podcasts with a friend. We know you've got a lot of different options, but hopefully we'll always give you something a little different here in the Go Long universe. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Bob.
Thank you.